Oh yeah, show 4 rolling your way in the Monster Energy Racer X season previews for Monster Energy AMA Supercross. We are deep into this. I need a little energy here, so thanks to the folks from Monster. We have a lot of riders to talk about in this show. You would prefer we've talked about all of them in show 1? You would just want to put everybody Steve Matthes in show 1?
No, sir, I would just like the factory riders in the first 3 shows. All factory riders in the first 3 shows.
You want an all-privateer.
Thank you.
An all-privateer show 4.
I mean, I guess, what do you consider Beta? Beta can go in show 4.
I think they will go in show 4.
I think they will, yeah. Good call. We're going to start this show, and thanks to our sponsors, Monster, Fly, Maxxis, and Maxima. I'm Jason. He's Jason. This is Steve. I'm going to start this with right on that line. Factory, privateer, I don't know. So Dylan Ferrandis, this is a big change. I believe we all thought, and he did too, that him on the new Yamaha last year was going to be great in Supercross. It might have actually been good. He went out instantly, landed on the back of Ken Roczen pretty early. Was that in Houston? Oakland? That was Houston. Had a concussion.
Houston.
Came back in Daytona.
Oakland was the year before that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Came back in Daytona, had a huge crash in practice. That was the end of Ferrandis in Supercross. And then outdoors was not the Ferrandis we're used to. And then he started to say the new bike, the Yamaha, he was gone. What he wants to ride so bad is a Honda. And in the top secret classified meetings that Steve Matthes was not allowed to attend, Jason Thomas, oh my God, this Dylan Ferrandis, he might be as happy as Plessinger. He is so happy right now.
I've never seen anyone love their motorcycle this much.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. That's not hyperbole. I've never seen someone so happy with a motorcycle change. No motorcycle is perfect. There's always going to be something it does that you don't necessarily like. I didn't get that sense from Dylan Ferrandis. And the most shocking part of it is this is a person who seems to always have something he doesn't necessarily like going on with his motorcycle. So I don't know if that shows up in the results. Time will tell. But it was, having got to talk to him so many times right after the race, coming right off the track on the podiums, and you could see the frustration. He looked really unhappy just in life, let alone on the motorcycle because of this. He was a very different person, light, happy, great mood. Like you could just tell that even though he's not on a factory team anymore, whatever changes he made have made him a happier person. He is a happier motorcycle racer now than he was 4 or 5 months ago. So good for him. We'll see what that turns into at the end of 20 minutes plus a lap. But I'll be damned if I've ever seen anybody that pumped on their Honda before.
He was asked if Roczen's 2023 with a team that had not been there before, it had freedom, it was relaxed, it was fun, Ken has a new lease on life, and he said, oh yeah, that crossed my mind. I looked at how that worked. So let's talk about Phoenix Honda, which is a team that races Arena Cross, GNCC, ATV Motocross. They do race Supercross, but they've never raced a 450 class, and they've certainly never had a guy of Ferrandis' talent. They're going to be able to make the call to Honda, and we got a problem, can you help us with that? But they're not getting a full factory motorcycle. There's a lot to discuss here with this team and this rider.
There's a ton to break down because, look, I'll go right off the top. I talked to a top rider in the sport that kind of knows Phoenix Honda and kind of knows Dylan Ferrandis and said he honestly believes this will not work. He thinks that the team and Dylan will butt heads.
This source thinks this.
Yes.
Okay.
And he said that they are not going to make it through the Supercross season.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow, that's bold.
So there's that out there, right? From somebody who's educated, not a kook online fan.
Yeah.
And there's that opinion out there. And then I look back at Dylan and I think to myself, well, he's a hard guy to work with. I know this firsthand.
He's demanding of the people around him.
He's very demanding, sometimes disrespectful. Some of the people who worked around him, not happy with him. I get along fine with him. He's a good interview.
Yeah.
And I wonder if going to a team like Phoenix will be a tough adjustment for Dylan. Now, maybe he loves the bike so much.
I couldn't believe it, Steve. I'm telling you.
He'd just overlook it, But then, okay, so that's sort of the downside. But then I look at Tim Ferry. I mean, I do that a lot. I look at Larry Ward. I look at Tim Ferry. These guys got bumped off the factory gravy train, became privateers, fought their way back into a factory ride. It's been done before. It's happened a few times. Justin Brayton did it also, if you want to, on technicality. So
he's great.
It's certainly happened before. And Dylan has that chip, that motivation that Larry had, that Timmy had. Those are two guys that I know pretty well, that I've seen firsthand. So that's a real motivation, right? Get back on that salary, get back on that factory bike. I've talked to people close to the Phoenix team too who tell me that there is no chance for Dylan to get out of this deal if he gets an opportunity for a fill-in ride. So he is on this Phoenix Honda the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think we can really judge success off of Supercross, though. I don't. I think Supercross is not his specialty. He's okay. He won it 250. He won 250 titles in it. I got it. But I don't think success or failure will truly be determined until the end of next summer.
Success is in the Supercross for Dylan is just literally racing 15 races.
I know.
15 to 17.
You know, for people watching this show, and we're talking about how happy he is, if he's running around 5, 6, 7, 9, 11 in January and February, I don't care. That's not where I'm going to say this was a win or loss deal. It's going to be next summer when I run into him at Thunder Valley and High Point on the podium. Is he still that happy? Is everything still going really well? Is he on a different level than the frustrated Dylan Ferrandis that I talked to 20 times last summer?
If he's 8th in the points at the end of Supercross, it's a success.
I understand, but
yeah, for him, for the team, for everybody,
right. But for the year, I don't think he's looking at A1 going, this is the time. I think he's looking at next summer going, I can win. And he mentioned this. He's like, every time I was behind Jet or watching him do things on the motorcycle, he could do things on his bike that I simply could not do.
He said he felt that when battling Roxon in 2021 when he beat everyone every week, and he still felt that way.
He's like, I'm watching them do things on the bike that I simply cannot do on my motorcycle.
Unreal.
That's what I think he's thinking about next summer. I think Supercross is something he has to do. I'm sure he's excited for it, but the goal, I would bet my bottom dollar, the goal for him is to be Pro Motocross champion at the end of 2024.
Well, that is the standard because remember, he was depressed and said on your Pulp show he's thinking of retiring while he was second in points in 450 outdoors. That was a depression level performance.
He was so unhappy. Even the motos where he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He was so unhappy with how things are going.
It's a great bike. I don't know.
So the hope is that this becomes the Mike LaRocco team. They've even Ziggy, a factory connection that started this team. LaRocco got off the factory carousel, just like you were talking about. 1998 gets on a team with a little bit of help from Honda, and it built into this great thing that became the Geico Honda team. As we know, they had a lot of success. That's what David Eller and Phoenix Honda are hoping. With the help of factory connection and Ferrandis, this can blossom. And baby steps maybe this year.
Look, and if Dylan wants to jump over to the quad GNCC side,
they got plenty.
He's got a ride. He's got a spot ready for him. So if that Arena Cross, he can jump into that.
Yep,
if he wants to go to Mini O's with Heath Harrison, also can do that. So it's a great opportunity. But we have a Dylan Ferrandis expert.
We do actually have a Dylan Ferrandis expert. So to make sure nothing is lost in translation, let's bring in Le Big, Stéphane Legrand of Le Big USA, our premier French journalist in America, to talk about Dylan Ferrandis prospects.
Thank you, Jason et Steve. C'est une très très bonne idée de parler de Dylan Ferrandis pour l'année 2024 parce que toutes les planètes sont alignées pour les pilotes français. Ça fait des années qu'il rêve de rouler sur une Honda. C'est fait, il a la Honda Phoenix. Mais en plus de ça, il s'entraîne dans des conditions idéales avec les frères Laurence. Il vient de déménager et surtout, il a retrouvé le bonheur, le plaisir de rouler. Et ça, pour Dylan, c'est vraiment une force extraordinaire, sachant que, vous le savez, un pilote heureux, c'est un pilote qui fait des résultats. Donc, Dylan Ferrandis en 2024, attention, le Français peut faire très très fort. En tout cas, il peut créer la surprise. Allez.
Couldn't have said it better.
Excellent.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you, LeBig, for that.
Yeah,
thank you.
LeBigUSA.com, everyone, if you want more information that sounds like that. Next rider on our list is Justin Cooper. I said in the previous show, Hunter Lawrence probably, as a rookie, would have some hype, but it's overshadowed by the generationalness of his brother. Justin Cooper, there is no buzz about Justin Cooper entering. He's only like a half rookie because JT, he did, I think, 7 450 races last year. But in talking to Justin Cooper, I think that's the way he wants it. I don't think he's upset that no one's talking about him. I don't think he wants that pressure right now. And he's got Webb and Tomac, his teammates, to take all that you have to win races away from him right now.
Well, and I don't think it's deserved. I don't think that anyone should be looking at Justin Cooper going, you got to perform. You got to be a podium guy. You got to win races. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think anyone is doing that. If you're doing that, you're putting way too much pressure and your expectations are far too high. Look at the lineup. Look at the roster going in A1 and tell me where he's going to fit into that. I think he can do what he was doing last year. 7 to 12. Right? Like maybe he runs around in the top 5 a few times, drifts back to 6, 7. Maybe the field gets thinner, maybe it improves, but I just think you have to be realistic. You have to understand what the situation is and where the field is, and he's going to be fine. But
great starter. So
he is a great starter, and that will help him. Absolutely will help him. But I just think on a raw speed level, if he can get inside the top 5 a few times, I think that would be a great season.
What about qualifying, though? Don't forget about qualifying.
I think outdoors, you're right, but I don't see that in Supercross. No, because qualifying in Supercross is being able to hit the whoops about 125 miles an hour at one time.
Okay.
Right. So outdoors, I'm there. Like I could see him throwing down heaters in motocross, but I don't think in Supercross you're going to see that.
Justin Cooper, I don't think is on people's radar.
Yeah, he's pretty under the radar,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And he has a fascinating career in the Racer X vault one day, and it's yet to be finished.
I can't classify it. It's
it
very
is,
few.
It is
mimic
all-time podiums, not a lot of wins.
Yeah.
Qualifying quickest.
I think
shots.
4 wins.
It's
4 wins only.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's
he
a great
did win
rider.
a 250 Supercross title,
Yep.
but even that, I feel he didn't get to defend because he was hurt. I feel like that got forgotten about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought he was really good last year in his cameo performances on
Yeah.
the 450. I told him so, and I thought he was impressive. And, he just might be one of those guys that starts off in the top 10, and we get a few injuries, and before you know it, we're like, Justin Cooper, top 5. Justin Cooper, podium.
Is he better than Hunter?
I would put him real close to Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, I really would.
So I have Hunter beating him.
Yeah.
I have Hunter beating him.
Yeah, I would put him right there with Hunter.
I don't think if you're Justin Cooper star, you're like I'm not at his level. Like he's battled him a lot. Yeah, I would think he thinks I'm there, and maybe he is. He did say he had one regret because he left the series early, and he's like, when I started seeing those guys get hurt at the end, and he could have got a podium bonus if he made it.
Yeah.
He's like, I kind of wish I was still out there.
We're going to talk about him in a second, but Justin Hill got on the podium.
Let's go to that. Let's go to Justin.
Okay, well, before we do,
Okay.
Justin Cooper, is it anything like what I was talking about with Dylan Ferrandis, where it's get good Supercross results, don't get hurt, don't ruin your season, and then let's show him what we got in motocross? Because I think even though he has a Supercross championship, the bulk of his really strong results and where the impressions have been in motocross.
I don't think so for that reason. I think it's because we don't know if Tomac's can even race motocross. As of now, he's not, but he could.
Mm-hmm.
And Cooper Webb outdoors, you never know.
Right.
So he might go from, don't worry about Supercross, bro. We got Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb too. You're our only guy. I know Webb says he wants to ride outdoors. He has a lot to prove, but for whatever reason, every year it doesn't work out for Webb outdoors. So I think it changes outdoors for Cooper.
Well, I think he could be a player outdoors. I really do. And I'm not saying he can't put in a good result in Supercross. That's not what I'm saying. I just think the expectation, my personal expectation for him, will go very high when we move outdoors.
Look, Alpine Star needed another guy, so they got him.
Yeah, they just didn't have a big enough.
Weak lineup they got there.
They didn't have a big enough
the guy
roster.
they snagged Justin Cooper.
Yeah, yep.
Way to patch that hole, Gabrielle.
So let's go to Justin Hill. Yeah, that's right. So he was a cop, retired.
Talk about an all-time vault
Unbelievable.
research.
Yes. Cop, retired, then tried to come back in 22 and was hurt all year.
PRMX and him didn't get along very well. Yeah.
Then he's back with Team Tedder last year, getting better throughout the season as he usually does. I'm just going to say this. I don't know if Justin Hill is a grinding boot camp 10 weeks before the season guy, but as he races his way into shape, he gets really good, and lo and behold, at the end of the year, he got a podium. I know guys are out, but he beat Cian Cirillo straight up to get that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Justin Hill, man.
Yeah, man.
Anything can happen.
Emoji guy.
It is.
Like, that's it. That's all I got. He was not good in Paris. He was not good in the World Supercross rounds.
He was invisible in those.
But again, maybe he just wasn't, really riding and was showing up.
What would have happened in New Jersey if it didn't rain? That guy was
that's right.
on fire
in the dry
in the afternoon.
Yes.
And then we saw it come to fruition later, but I don't know what to make of it because he was not that guy in September.
Yeah.
Absolutely not that guy.
He didn't gel with a lot of teams, Justin Hill,
Yep.
for different reasons. Some of him, some of the team, whatever. But Ted, the Ted Tedder program, is just, you can see it. It's probably totally no pressure. Like, literally no pressure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where he excels.
Yeah.
And so he's found a home with the Tedders, and it works perfectly, and Dakota's managing it. And I don't think there's a whole lot of effort put in as far as, like, yelling at him or getting him to motivate. And it's working. It's working. So just leave it alone, and, we'll see what we can get. Like, God, if you had told me Justin Hill was going to make a podium 2 years ago, I would have said, you're nuts.
He got 8th in points.
Yeah.
He was 8th in points.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, sneakily, on the MCR team, which he did not gel with, he was also 9th in points that year or whatever on the MCR Honda team. So, the guy's got a lot of talent. We know this.
It was building toward – he was getting really good. Then we had the big COVID break, and lo and behold, after the break, he wasn't really that good. So if you just get him to race every weekend, look out.
Yep.
So it all leads to this when we talk about Ferrandis not on the full factory bike, but they can call Honda and get some advice. Hill is not a factory team. What is the level of these guys now? How good can you be without being on one of the factory teams? So let's go to Chris Kiefer. Let's get our monster of information from Kiefer. What is it like specifically Ferrandis and Hill in 2024? Are bikes good enough where you don't even need the factory stuff to get on the podium?
All right, something near and dear to my heart. Never had a factory ride. The man I'm wearing right here, JT, privateer hero right here. So I'm going to do something that a lot of privateers don't get to do. I'm going to pop a podium, little sody right here, monster. So here we go. This is an age-old question. Is it the rider or the bike that makes the difference? Look, in the 450 class, I'm going to say it's more the rider. Sure, Dylan Ferrandis, Justin Hill, great ride by Justin Hill in the last round last year. He has a lot of talent built in. Quick thing about Justin Hill before we move to Dylan. Justin and Team Tedder will be on a newer frame, which will be the Husqvarna frame that we're calling it. We're not calling it the new factory edition frame. So last year, they were on an older frame. They preferred that. Now they'll be on a newer frame. So let's see how those results are. But when it comes to the 450 class, is it really needed to have a factory bike setup? This is where Dylan Ferrandis is going to be. Yes, it is production-based. Yes, he will have a little help from Honda, but he will not have every access that Jet and Hunter do. I mean, he has production-based parts on his bike. He's running Ride Engineering clamps. He has an engine builder that's going to be in-house. It's not going to be a factory engine. We know these 450s are fire breathers. It's a matter of how you manage the power out on the track, especially for starts. And I think this is where the difference between factory 450s and privateer 450s really come into play is ECU tuning. ECUs have come a long, long way. We have a Vortex. We have Get. All of these ECUs that are really, really tunable. But the teams are going to have to spend a lot of time to get these guys happy on how to deliver the 450 power. Later on in the year, here's my prediction for Dylan Ferrandis. He is going to struggle a little bit because the bike, the Honda Sierra 450, is going to be a little bit different feeling than his Yamaha last year when the track does get rough. He is going to have to lean on Ziggy and the guys for suspension settings. Let's be honest. Factory Connection doesn't have a lot of notes with this Honda coming in 2024, as well as Dylan Ferrandis. We know that Dylan likes a certain setup. He is very picky with his motorcycle, so the Phoenix Honda team is going to have their work cut out for them. The bike itself is capable. It's just a matter of dialing it in for Dylan, and I don't think it's going to be that much of a hurdle to get him to where he wants to be, but they're going to have to do some work initially to actually get the bike comfortable enough in these late race main event motos to get him up near the top 5. Now, Justin Hill, new frame. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as a change as it will be for Dylan, but nonetheless, I think Justin will be top 10 and then work his way back in the top 5 later in the year like we saw in 2023.
Okay, so good insight there.
Yeah, can I just say, too, when you talk about factory stuff on the podium, I wrenched privateer bikes to the podium.
Here we go.
You don't need it.
Oh, you're saying. You're there.
Well.
Oh, the factory bikes aren't any better?
No, but I'm saying you don't need it. You don't need it. You can get on the podium, privateer bike with me.
Oh, just you.
Tuning wrenches.
You're the difference.
No. I'm
Maybe
saying how low it takes.
Oh, okay.
How low the level is.
Yes.
You got me and a privateer bike, and we got on the box.
Do you ever think you were what held Timmy back?
Well, I don't know. He got 4 pole positions in 2003, and I think that's fantastic. So
that was you that helped him.
Yeah.
Motivate.
No, listen. The cool thing about our sport, and I think we can all agree on this, is like, unlike your street bike racing that you two yahoos like, and unlike F1 and even NASCAR, which
those tiny sports.
Yeah, those NASCAR too.
Right.
I love our sport, man. You can get a guy who was retired and a cop and on a 2-year-old bike.
Yeah,
and he can get on the podium with an exhaust and suspension and a little bit of motor work. I love that about our sport. It's the rider, the fitness, the mental ability, the skills, all of it. Unlike other janky motorsports, that's why I love Supercross and motocross.
One other top factory guy to mention, but he's late in these shows, even though they're not a ranking, because he hasn't raced Supercross. So we touched on Jorge Prado.
Oh, you're not even getting to the guy I'm thinking of right now.
Marv? Who?
No, Craig. Christian Craig raced Supercross last year. He's a factory rider.
All right, Craig's in here. Craig's in the
Yeah,
show.
but you were going to get to another guy right now.
Okay, fine. You want to do Craig
Who
first?
were you going to before Craig?
This
Prado.
is in no particular order, Steve.
Prado.
Can we just please get Craig in the
All right,
show?
let's get
So
Christian
do you
Craig
think
in.
that Jorge
Yes.
Prado is not a good rider? Because he's
No,
the
but-
MXGP world champion
Yeah.
this year.
Back it down. Let's get Christian
All right,
Craig
we'll go to
on.
Christian Craig. Not ranked much last year because he didn't make it through the season. But I'd forgotten this, JT. Good on you. There were qualifying sessions at Anaheim 1 where he looked good, and then he crashed, and he admitted to you everything went south from there.
Yep. Yeah, he came in like.
Well, it was an untimed session.
Is that it?
Untimed.
yes.
The
So
very
was
first.
Timmy's pole positions.
No, this.
Oh.
No. I'm just. You said sessions, but there was,
Okay,
the very
one
They were
first
timed.
time.
No, they were timed. They just didn't count.
He said sessions, meaning plural sessions.
It was
There
only one
was
session.
One session.
One session.
And he
But
was
it was
second
the
in the
very
second
first one.
And he was second in the second one.
He was first in the first one. He was first.
He was second in the second one.
So there
Okay.
were 2 sessions where he was
Yes.
either first or
and second, and then
Okay.
he crashed his brains out in the last one.
And then he was okay after that, but we never saw that level. So is that under the hood? Is that there for Craig?
I think it's still there. It's just getting his mind and body back there, right?
Yeah.
It's the same worry I have a little bit for Eli Tomac. I know it's still there, but a lot of that is built from momentum.
Yeah.
You know, he was coming off of winning the 2022 Supercross Championship.
Yeah.
He was great. That outdoor series, we
Yep.
saw him leading motos at Southwick.
Yep.
He was
Some thought he should be on today's
right. He had a
team. Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
momentum. He gets on the Husky. He comes in. He's very confident, and then he has this big setback. So can he get back to that level, which does take time? Listen, we all know how talented he is. If you've ever watched him ride a motorcycle, not many people can do what he does and make it look like that. I just think he needs to believe in himself. I think that's always been a question mark for him is can he allow his body to do, can he allow his mind to get out of the way of his body, right? I don't know how else to better say it than that because the talent is so apparent. He just needs to kind of believe that he can be that guy.
Show 4. We're finally talking about him. But where did his whoop speed go? That's the question I had because I know
That's where he crashed in Anaheim.
Yeah,
he
after-
said that's where it went.
after that crash, he was shook a little bit,
Yeah.
but he stayed back west to do some suspension testing. He felt like the hard dirt on the West Coast, and Mookie said the same thing. They were testing back east, and that kind of blew me away a little bit because, hey, guys, the West Coast races are harder dirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
But anyways, what do I know? Christian stayed back, did some testing, was happier with his bike, but I still didn't see that whoop speed, man. And I didn't see it from Mookie either. And Mookie, I mean, between Mookie and Christian, I mean, there's not
They can
maybe
hit some whoops.
Right, and we never saw it. And so, like JT said, Craig is a very mentally fragile guy. It's got to be going right, and he can achieve great heights. And if it's going wrong, he's down in the depths, right? So we've seen the talent. I think the jury's out a little bit. Like, let's see what he can do. What do you think of his getup at A1? What about that set of gear?
I don't know anything about it.
Yes, you do. We were literally just talking about it.
Set of gear at A1.
Yeah.
I'm not clued into what he's going to be doing at A1.
We were talking about an Instagram post from December. I'm not sure if that's what he's racing.
Yeah,
at
it's
A1.
literally what we were just talking about. He's racing A1 in that
you know
Instagram
this.
post.
You know this.
I don't know enough, nor should I probably
Okay.
be the person to be talking about what's going on with that.
What do you think of that kind of getup, showing up with that?
You know he's going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that is the case,
Yeah.
you're reporting this
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I think any innovation in gear and safety and stuff is cool, so I'm here for it.
Okay, you're here for it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm very interested to
Yeah.
see it. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about
Right.
it though.
Yeah.
So
Well, just the idea.
okay, well, it's an interesting idea. I have questions about execution and how
Okay.
practical it is.
Right.
But I'm all for pushing the envelope.
Yep.
How are you going to pee before the race?
That's one of my questions.
Okay.
We had a pair of pants at Fly Racing that did not have a zipper, and I must have heard 25,000 times about how hard it was to go to the bathroom when I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not anywhere near as aggressive as what they're looking
Mm-hmm.
to do.
People are so confused right now because they don't know what we're talking
Exactly.
Yeah.
about. Now,
My bad.
Now,
We
Prado.
can cut that if we need to.
We now Jorge Prado. We teased this in the previous episode talking about Aaron Plessinger. Look, Prado's only here for 3 races. That's the plan. But I believe he's coming to race 2025. He's saying, I don't know. I believe he knows. This is what he wants to do.
Very sure.
Yes.
He's coming in 2025.
That's what he wants to do. So really, this is a preview of the future for him, not 2024 per se. The videos you've seen, the stuff that trickled out, are you a believer, JT? Because he looks good.
He's gotten a lot better.
Oh, okay.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Now, do I think he's going to be a podium guy or win races? Not in 2024. No.
No, in 3 races?
The,
No.
Well, I think there are some people that they believe in him. They think he's
Right out of the box.
I'm just being realistic. I
Yeah.
think if he comes over, learns a lot,
Yeah.
stays healthy, gets good starts, runs around, gets top 10 finishes, that is a really solid platform to then go back, defend his title, and come back full-time in 2025. Because from his comments, he wants to be here. He accomplished his goal, which was winning that title, beating Jeffrey Hurlings, and now he gets to come to America and chase this goal. Before we even spoke with him, when he announced that he was racing the first 3 or 4 rounds, whatever he ends up doing, to me, that was the shot across the bow. Like, I knew then. Like, there's no way he's doing that unless he's serious about 2025. So it's great. I love having him. He's a world-class talent. There are going to be a lot of casual fans that have never seen him ride. They don't know anything about him. Trust me when I tell you this guy's the real deal. Now, it may not show up in Supercross in 2024. It may not blow you away. But when he does make the full move in 2025, he will be a contender. Whether it's indoors or out, I don't know. I don't know what the learning curve will look like. But do not be fooled and think that he's going to be a guy that comes over and can't get it done and flounders around. That's not who this guy is.
No, I think he will eventually be fine. I'm just saying this year he's like a 3 races. So
don't expect
I
think
too much.
he understands what that means.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming in like I got to win. He doesn't have anything to prove.
Nope.
His future is sealed. Whatever he wants that to be.
We've seen this before, whether it's Stefan Everts, whether it's Sebastian Tortelli.
Tortelli won.
Ken Roxon. Yeah. We've seen the world champions come over and dip their toes in and get used to it. And these guys have always done pretty well. Going back to Everts and those other guys, they've always – Jean-Michel Bale even. They've always done really well. There's no reason to think Jorge Prado won't figure it out. I mean, do I think he's going to be 8th to 12th place guy in the rounds this year? Yeah, sure. That's where he's going to be. But he'll figure it out. He'll get better, and he'll be back and do really well, I think. And, of course, outdoors, I mean, he'll be next level.
So you're in the same boat. You believe 25 Prado's here.
I don't know enough. I don't follow it like these guys do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly some GP guys that tell me no. You know, he's going to stay there. But who knows? Yeah, it depends how it goes because – KTM's got a guy over there, can't seem to stay on 2 wheels. Sorry. So maybe, there's some things in play there as far as keeping him, throwing him, writing him a check.
To win more MXGP titles.
Writing him a bigger check, whatever.
His comments, what I would tell you, and I don't know this is just my opinion, but his comments in December make me think that if KTM said, we'll just write you a bigger check to stay, someone else here will write him a bigger check to come. He wants to.
I think he'll call Cowie. He'll call
wants
Star.
to
whatever.
be here.
Yes.
Like I was very, very convinced after that conversation. Like he talked about how it was always his dream, and then that dream kind of morphed because he started doing well in MX2 and wanted to go down that road. But since he was a little kid, he watched Carmichael and Stewart, not Stefan Everts and Greg Albertine. That was not his childhood growing up. So his lifelong goal is to be here. He accomplished what he set out to do over there. Now it's time to come here.
Speaking of importing from MXGP, the Beta or the Beta. Is it Beta or Beta? I've always said Beta. Beta? Beta?
I think only British say Beta. I think it's Beta.
Our friend Mr. Phillips says Beta.
He says
does,
Beta.
but I'm
That's
pretty
where I'm getting this from.
Everyone I've talked to in Europe says Beta.
It's
So they've raced MXGP for 2 seasons now, I believe. MXGP?
Yeah.
3, I think.
Yeah,
3 now.
Van Harbeek.
Okay, so now they have a Supercross team with Colt Nichols and Benny Bloss. We're pumped. We like these guys. Good that they have rides, 2-year deals.
Yeah.
But I don't know beyond that.
Well, I think you nailed it. Colt Nichols and Benny Bloss are good dudes. Really cool guys.
Yeah, great guys.
Yeah.
We want to cheer for them. I don't know where you guys are at, and we need to see everything at Anaheim 1. But that's an early leader for the best-looking bike in the pits.
Oh,
wow.
That's an early leader.
Really?
Wow.
I like it.
Oh, I am very far from that.
Oh, I like it.
I am very far from
Really?
that.
Oh, give me that beat.
It looked to me like they ran out of the same color plastic and had to find a different color to put on.
No. Two-tone is where it's at. I like it.
I'm out.
Especially with some of Benny's gear he's been wearing. Same thing.
I hope the best for them.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of this look.
Okay.
look.
I like it. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? Like, look, more jobs. Triumph's coming. Ducati's coming. Beta is here. Great. Good to see. I do worry in the grand scheme of things about them just being up in sort of northern LA with their own facility, locked down, riding one track, not really integrating down in Southern California with everybody, not sort of knowing where you're at, maybe not getting as much help from Beta in Spain, the parent company, as much as we think. So I got some concerns for sure, but I think they can run okay. Benny is fast. I mean, Benny can ride a dirt bike.
When it didn't go that smoothly, I don't know how closely you followed your MXGP effort. it was really hit and miss.
Right.
Some good days, but a lot of very frustrating days. And I think this is going to mirror that. I think you'll see some times you're like, man, they look good, and then there's going to be
they literally do look good.
Well, yeah, I just think sometimes you're going to look and like, oh, that was a really good lap by Benny or Colt or whatever. But I think there will be times too where the bike's not responding the way they wanted to, and there's going to be some difficult weekends for that team.
Well, again, like I go back, and no offense to the guys who are watching this from Beta or Beta, I don't see any Bones Bacon or Theo Lockwood,
Skip Norfolk,
or these guys who
To your point, Colt Nichols said this is new for the entire staff.
Yeah.
Engine guy, suspension guy, team manager who used to race.
Yeah.
He was a privateer racer, Carlin Gardner,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's new to all of them.
I'd like to see a Larry Brooks in there or a
Yeah.
Ron Heben or
Somebody's been there and done it.
Yeah, some data acquisition.
Yeah.
Somebody like that on that program. Yeah.
Yep. On the contrary to that is the rest of the Suzuki team. We talked about Ken Roxon in show number 2, but he has teammates with different sponsors. The Twisted Tea Suzuki team, which is Kyle Chisholm and Shane
Fly
McElrath.
Riders also.
Yep. Looking good. Speaking of looking good. Chiz gonna chiz. At one point you were worried that Chiz wasn't chizzing?
I mean, weren't we all worried about Chiz?
I don't think I am. I think I've just given up on ever being worried about Chiz.
Okay.
I feel like
I mean, last summer outdoors, we had big problems.
I
feel like he was worse at times in the past.
Yeah, in Supercross, we were like, what's going – and then found out he's hurt his knee and he wasn't riding during the week and, all this stuff. But we were a little worried for our guy, Chiz.
I think Chiz will be fine. McElrath, as soon as you bring up McElrath, people are like, that's so weird, dude. He used to battle Sexton, man. Mm-hmm. He cannot escape that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement to make.
Yeah. Yeah, he cannot escape constantly being compared to that. He has not found traction, not been able to get it going on a 450.
Maybe
look at Austin Forkner. Austin Forkner used to mop the floor with Chase Sexton in that East Coast ill-fated 2019 East Coast Championship.
Yes.
Chase Sexton absolutely had nothing for Austin Forkner, and I do understand he was younger.
Yeah,
he was but I get it. It's the same argument though. It's like look where Sexton is, look where Forkner is. It's the same argument for McElrath.
Yep.
I would think that, and without looking at the vault in front of me, weren't Sexton and McElrath sort of the same number of years of experience at that point when they were?
No, I feel like
McElrath was way more.
McElrath's old,
way more.
Yes, so that's why I always felt that was young up and coming Sexton already still at peak experience McElrath's level, and then you knew it was just gonna keep going like that.
Yeah. The good thing about Shane is we've joked about it, we've talked about it. 6 different bikes in 2 years, teams and everything.
Yeah.
That couldn't be easy. And now he's back on HEP where he was last summer, last Supercross, so he can at least go into Anaheim 2024 with hey, this is how I liked my Suzuki 450 on this team in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So let's start
it is kind of weird though. McElrath's fate kind of seems sealed, right? He seems like he's going to be a 12th to 16th place guy next year. Right.
I know what you mean. You.
This was a guy that used to be really good. I remember going into A1. He won A1 on 250s, dominating.
Yeah.
Then on 450s, we're like, this guy can be a consistent top 10 guy, no problem. And it's regressed since then. I don't have high expectations for Shane at all.
Yeah, you were in this game. You know how mental it is. I feel like if those first 2 or 3 years don't go well, it is so hard to pull yourself out of the pecking order and completely flip the script.
So where's Nichols?
Nichols, I'm really worried about this Beta thing. I don't. Here's what I'm going to get to it right now. Actually, Max's rubber meets the road.
Okay.
It's a win for Beta or Beta. It's a win. If the 2-year deals that they have with those guys, if they're back, if we were talking about them on this show next year, and they kept racing, and the team stayed, and the riders were happy enough to come back, and they were happy enough with the riders to keep it going. Yeah, I have no idea on Beta. So just if you make it to year 2 and everybody's happy, that's good.
Weege with the low bar.
Dude.
Let's make it to year 2.
0. There's 0 to start with here. 0. That is a steep
you have no alpha on Beta.
I have no alpha on Beta.
Okay.
Just get through it and improve.
Will Benny break the Beta?
He'll put a big
Will
he'll put a
BB
big load
break
on
the
that
Beta?
bike.
Because if you want to test sort of torsion and whip and strength, Benny Bloss and some whoops should do a good job of that. So
that's what I'm worried about. This is just a whole nother animal. And I'm not saying they can't be good eventually, but they have to be so patient.
Right.
And a lot of people in the world aren't.
Well, they patient enough? Imagine Colt going from factory Honda last year and the organization and how everything is just down to the second, dialed in.
Yep.
There's no misses anywhere, and then now it's on this fledgling effort that I'm sure they're trying their butts off, right? But it is not Honda HRC.
Is fragility a word?
Fragility?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Imagine the fragility in our sport. You're Colt Nichols. You're the defending 250 Supercross champion. You get hurt the first race. You get a Honda fill-in for Supercross that goes so-so.
Well, you got sixth that first round. You're like, I am so bad.
Yeah, we got something.
That goes so-so.
Yeah.
And now you're on Beta. Again, not talking crap about the Beta, but the fragility of our sport. Like in 3 years, Colt Nichols has literally experienced it all.
It's tough. The only saving grace that I'll look at him, and it's not our place to share details, but if things go okay, he's going to make pretty decent money over the next couple of years, and he's made pretty decent money before. So I look at a big picture of like, how is this setting up for life? And maybe it's because there aren't any other opportunities. It's not like he turned down this other so-so deal. Like this was one of the only deals out there, really.
So that's what I want. Good dudes.
Okay.
2-year deals. Let's enjoy the stability, the paycheck. Let's keep this train in the tracks.
I want to see Jeff Bloss at the races more too. So
we should get that. Right. So thank you for that, Beta.
I want to see him karate kick you in the face again.
I do not. But so I got a couple things for the Maxima SC1 Shine On segment. I'm going to get to that in a second. But Maxima also makes a great MPPL, it's called. And I would like to get that MPPL and spray it in Chiz's joints.
Okay,
because they're rusted, they're old.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a Tin Man.
Yeah, like so that Chiz can warm up, and come back out. Okay. He's a gem. He's in the group of like just guys you want to see and keep racing and you enjoy. And I really feel like us three too have really, he's just gonna chiz and Chiz gonna chiz. And, we started this and I feel like it's a real thing. My Shine On segment for SC1 Maxima will be towards Dylan Ferrandis, who I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of the whole thing. He can just go ask Chase Sexton how great the Honda is. All these riders.
JT did that. He did ask.
He actually did that, right?
Ferrandis laughed.
Right. So, I just think Dylan, and I know some things behind the scenes, he's a tough guy to please. He's a tough guy on teams.
Well, they're doing it right now. And you're right. I'm telling you this. I kind of glanced. His wife was talking to us at this meeting that you weren't at, and I was like, she might be a little jealous of this Honda talk. Like he
loves that.
See, you guys in this special meeting, you're getting sold down the river, sold a bill of goods, and that's fine. You have emotions again.
Listen, I'm as jaded as anybody. I was looking at him side-eyed as you can be.
But I am not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, he seemed very sure. That's all I wanted to do. I'm just trying to judge where they are mentally.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
Who's going to fly, JT, out of this group we talked about here from Jacob, Ferrandis, Hill, Prado,
Poor Craig.
Beta, Craig?
That's who I'm going, Craig.
Okay.
I think Craig, I think he has so much raw speed.
Yeah.
And if he seemed like he was in a good place mentally, we talked about Motocross of Nations a little bit, and I think he felt like he let the team down a lot. But I was like, listen, nobody should have expected anything out of you. You've never raced that bike outdoors. You've never raced that track before. You hadn't raced all summer. Like there was a million reasons why you shouldn't do well. But I think having practiced all these guys, chasing Malcolm Stewart around the practice track, I think he'll come in and I think he'll surprise. I think he will be in that first, session that doesn't count, right? It is timed, but it doesn't count. I think he'll be in the top 5 in times. I really do.
Okay. We got Craig in. If it's a good year, we'll move him up next year. Just got an incomplete grade in 2023.
I don't want Jagger Nation coming after me. So, Christian, I just want you to know.
Bedbugs.
This is too long of a show for you. You should have been in show 3.
Okay, we'll
Maybe
be back.
Show 2.
Show 5 will be our 250 show. So cue up rants on not knowing what coast the riders are in and rants on 250 classes broken, etc., etc. So get ready for that. Thanks to Monster Energy, Matthes, Maxima, and Fly Racing. Go to supermotocross.com for all of your information on where to go when the races are happening. Thanks for watching.